So let us say when you want to find out the, if you want to graph a particular like cubic equation or something on calculator. So the first thing you got to do is you go under the graphs, just go under the graphs, let's say here, which is the fifth option, then select it. You put your function like x cubed minus 3x squared plus 1, and just press execute. So I have plotted two graphs here, so I'll just deselect the first one. So this is the graph that you're getting. Now, what things you need to write is like whenever you're asked to draw the graph, you need to first write down the roots. Let's say your roots are, first root, as you can see, is negative 0.53. So you press G solve. So you press G solve 2 times. I mean, not 2 times, G solve and root. F1. So F5 and F1 is for the root. And what we get is, let's say, first graph is, it's like this, it goes down and it's here. So you're going to write down all these important features. So it's like first is negative 0.532. Then you got a next root for that. You press this, which is 0.65. 0.65, and the next one is 2.87. So there are 3 roots, 2.87. So there are 3 roots here. So that these are the information. Sometimes they ask you find out the turning point or maximum minimum. You just say G solve max. So you get the maximum coordinate at 0,1. So your max is at 0,1. So you can just mark this as 0,1, and then minimum, if you press, like you should do same G solve and minimum. So you get the coordinate as 2, -3. So minimum is called 2, -3. So some of these things you might be expected in the exam. Now we need to solve an equation on GDC directly. So when you're solving an equation, it's pretty easy. You have one left-hand side graph. You plot the right-hand side graph from GDC. So you plot the second graph here as y equals to 5. So when you draw it, you can see that there is a graph appearing, and you just press G solve and intersect. So the solution of this equation is nothing but the x coordinate of intersection. So it intersects at only one coordinate, which is x equals to 3.55, which is this coordinate. So that's where you solve a particular equation. Now, second thing they can ask you is, let's say x cubed minus 3x squared plus 1 equals to x minus 1. So if I draw, let's say, x minus 1 line. So when you draw x minus 1 line here, so you can see that it cuts at 3 points now. So now if you press G solve, intersect. So you already had this graph, you just have to draw this graph. So this is 0.86, the second is this, and third one is this. So you got like 3 points, which is first one is 0.74, negative 0.86, and of course you have the last one is 3.11. Next one is like, how do we solve the inequality on this? So let's say if I have got x cubed minus 3x squared plus 1 greater than x minus 1. So now you'll see for what x values is this graph above this line. So for what x values is this graph above this line, if you want to look at it, you can clearly see that it is here in this part and in this part. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to just write down that x coordinate. So x should be between, you can say, I think this point was, I'll just find it out once again, G solve, intersect. So at this point was from negative 0.86 to 0.74. So x should be between negative 0.86 to 0.74, or it has to be x greater than, let's say, find out the next intersection, which is 3.11. So this x is 3.11. So this is the general solution of this particular inequality. Now, if I had to look at, if I had let's say less than or equals to 0. So in this case, you look at where is this line above? Where is this line above the curve? So you can see that in that case, if you clearly look at the graph, where's the line above the curve is basically out here and out here. And that's nothing but x less than or equals to negative 0.86, or x is between 0.74 to 3.1. So these are the coordinates that you get. So this is how you solve the inequality on the graph. Now, another very common question is like when they compare like given equation with the horizontal line. So generally they'll say that, like for example, I'll just erase this. So let's say if they ask you x cubed minus 3x squared plus 1 equals to k has one solution, find k value for this. So when you find has exactly one solution, now if you see y equals to k, now right hand side, this y equals to k. Y equals to k is always a horizontal line. So when I draw horizontal line, it should cut the graph at only 1 point. So here it is cutting at 1 point, here it cuts at 3 points, then again it cuts at 1 point. So how do we figure out what should be the range of k values? So when you write in the range of k values, you can use this maximum or minimum coordinates to figure out your answer. So let us say if I take any k values greater than 1 or k values lesser than -3. If I take k greater than 1, I'll get these areas, and then if I take k less than -3, I'll get these. So it just in that case, it just intersects at only 1 point. Now, if they ask you what is the exact k value that it gives two solutions, so that will be nothing but here. If you see that on your GDC, it is here basically. Exactly two solutions here if I draw any horizontal line. So that's k equals to 1 or k equals to -3. And if they want three solution exists here. So k, in that case, k should be between -3 to -1. So if, I mean, positive 1. So if you take any of these k values, like for example, if I'm solving this equation equals to, let's say, -2. So you'll draw y equals to -2 line. If you draw y equals to -2 line, it somewhere is here. It will cut 3 points, 1, 2, and 3, and that's your solution. So this is how you use GDC for cubic equation or not.